and call this meeting to order at 6:05. We will stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, looks like we do not have a quorum for BZA, but we do have a quorum for Planning Commission. So we will have an official meeting for planning and no meeting for BZA. All right, so first thing I want to cover is our wayfinding signs. Dave's been working hard on getting that completed. He has a deadline of June meeting, so to get that finished.
Well, I'm going to try to hit that.
Okay.
And I'll admit that some of the delays in my own, I'll own that. So now where we're at is we're waiting for the sponsorship people to reply back if they're interested in sponsoring. And I've circulated a flyer to them. But what we need to discuss, though, are we could do the sponsorship after the fact. What we need to discuss is wayfinding points. So what points are important to have as far as wayfinding? So I'm thinking Lambert Park. Designate Lambert Park as one.
Town Hall. I think that's a pretty important part.
Right.
I would like to think about, to the borders of what we consider our downtown or historic downtown. You're entering historic downtown Clayton.
Okay.
Because didn't we talk about putting like one of the signs down by Floral?
Mm-hmm.
Davis Floral?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So would we start from there and go historic?
Yes.
Okay.
So you want a drop down that specifically says entering historic downtown area, business area. Okay.
I think that would be good.
On each end of the area. Okay. And then I know we discussed a long time ago about Lambert Park being one, Town Hall being one, and the public parking being one.
Library, maybe?
Yes, library.
Yeah.
Because when I moved here, I had no clue there was a library.
All right.
Until my kid told me. He's like, yeah, there's a library down there.
What about one showing Mill Creek East and then Cascade High School / junior senior high? Would that be important?
Like that sign on MASH with the Tokyo and Los Angeles.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's
like
5 miles out.
One at 0 saying if you're coming from the east, coming in, heading west to town, you come to the stop sign, you see one that says Mill Creek East. We can put as many down as we want. The more that we have hanging down, though, is more it's going to flap in the wind. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so we have one that points to Cascade Junior Senior High, head south, and then another one down by Amo Road and 0 that points west on Amo Road to the high school. And then do we need one for Mill Creek East? I mean, it's pretty obvious where it's at.
I mean, other than you're entering a school zone, I don't know that there's a whole lot of signage that says, I mean, they have their little electronic sign, but it's, they're small.
Am I wrong? Is there a school zone on 39?
Yes.
Is there signs?
Yes. Okay, stop ignoring.
I do the speed limit.
Good. Yeah,
And
don't
I
run
just
over
never
any
pay
kids.
attention 'cause I know the school is there, so
Gotcha.
I assume it's a school zone.
Yeah.
Only during certain hours.
And like State Road or DOT moved the signs a little bit a couple of years ago. Of course, they weren't consistent. So coming southbound, the school zone starts just by that White House next to the trailer, so it's close. But then going northbound to in the school zone, it's all the way up. Like I don't know, past the or almost to York Avenue. I mean, it's a long ways up there. So it's just kind of inconsistent with the way they did it. But it's the state's Department of Transportation is in charge of those. So, but
Okay.
yeah, I think having a sign on that, telephone pole right there pointing to Mill Creek East would be great.
Okay. So I've got at each end entering historic area, and you want that with an arrow or just a statement?
Yeah, just a statement.
And then public parking, which is like River Park / Vandalia Trail, or do we need to advertise the Vandalia Trail?
Yeah, I think we.
Where does the trail start? I'm like, what trail? I'm like,
Terry's representing Clayton. I don't know where the school or the library are or the trail. Yeah. Just kidding.
Okay, library, high school, junior, senior high, or just Cascade Junior, Senior High, Mill Creek East. Anything else? Okay, that's good. Okay, well, I'll get that worked up, and then I'll try to work in a graphic of what poles would have what signs. I'll email everyone. Is everyone getting the emails I send?
Yeah.
So other than that, then we just need to work on the sponsorship. I did tell everyone as I went around that it's $100, and we may hit them up again. If the banner gets weathered to a point where we have to take it down and gotta get it moved. So we have, I kind of.
but they should last quite a while.
They should. They're pretty resilient. They may. But I said, we may hit you up. We may not. I don't know. We haven't made that decision. And everybody says, "Oh, that'd be fine." So that should be fine.
Any plans on order the poles? The poles at the banner.
Oh, the hardware for the poles. For the banners is going to come with the wayfinding and the sponsorship. All that gear will come first. The first package we got is
Put them up.
we don't have to wait. As soon as I find that out, let's target them.
Yeah.
The banners are 30 by 60. Are they the same size as the DAR banners? Okay. I also told folks that we're going to move the DAR banners, but we're going to keep DAR banners around. It's just we want to beautify the downtown area a little bit more, accentuate this.
But are we taking the DAR down?
We're just going to move them to another poles.
Oh, okay.
Well, and you can also put banners on both sides of the pole. So there's, that option of, some of the poles have room and not a lot of extra noise around them. So put a banner on both sides.
Yeah.
If we need to.
Okay. I didn't think of it.
I think like the one right there between Copper Top and Miss B's Tees, there might be too much noise to go on that side of the pole because of the building and how close that pole is. But I think there are other poles that have lots of room around them and other obstructions or things in your way.
Okay. That's all I got on the banners.
All right, very good. Anybody else got any other comments on banners? Very good. All right, other things that we need to start working on, which I'm kind of fixing some problems with our UDO. And the state of Indiana passed some some rules this year on local government matters, and part of it is our planning commission and our BZA and our rules and regulations for that. So Mary Strotter and I have been meeting a few different times and going over some of the stuff. One of the regulations just simply gives Pete a lot of extra work. So it asks him to put together a lot of detailed information every year in a yearly report to the Housing and Community Development Authority at the state. And so he has to submit information about how many building permits got denied, how many building permits got approved, if the building permit got denied, why, how many low-cost housing things are available in your community, how many how many housing situations changed or altered, like did a person who had a duplex decide to tear out the walls and make it a single family home, or vice versa. I mean, there's a, you got that list from Mary. There's just probably 45 different things that they're asking about. That is going to be something that Pete has to track every year and submit this report to them. That affects us as the planning commission just because we are involved in approving certain things. So one big thing they really mentioned is that if something is mentioned in our UDO and it's covered in our UDO, we cannot force them to make an appeal to us. It just has to be approved. And I'm not too sure why they specifically emphasize that, unless there were communities that were doing the opposite, like playing favorites with some and then making others jump through hoops when they shouldn't have had to, kind of thing. But they basically, if the UDO said you're allowed to do a granny flat or an accessory dwelling unit to rent on your property, we can't make them go through an approval process if it already says they're allowed to do that, kind of thing. So those were some of the issues. Pete also printed out a packet here that he handed to you. So anybody that's a member of the Board of Zoning Appeals, there is a rules and procedures for that, and we approve these every so often. I think the last time we approved these was 2023, and so Mary's made some adjustments already on this one. So everything in red on page 2 of this one, she's basically updated it. And what it has to do with is members. So if you're a member of the BZA, it talks about how we can appoint you, how long your term is, and then how we may remove somebody from the BZA, and it goes through just basically those points. So these are all going to have to be kind of reviewed and then approved next month. Hopefully we'll have a quorum for the BZA to be able to do that. As you can see, it goes through who's responsible for making appointments to the BZA, who is allowed to serve on it, those kinds of things. And then it goes through the same issue later on in the Planning Commission's rules and procedures, which is, that's the other packet. So there's 2 packets. One's for the BZA, one's for the Planning Commission. So the Planning Commission has the same edits. So if you're on the Planning Commission, these are the things that we need to know about with that. Right now, currently, we have all the seats occupied for the BZA. So that's not an issue, other than the only part that we would need to address is the BZA still hasn't appointed or elected a vice chair. So Jim Hawk is our chair, and although I know he's not a fan of being the chair. So, but at the next time we have a quorum, the BZA should do officer reelections. And then for the Planning Commission, we have 2 open seats, one of which has to be either an elected official or a town employee. And since Leanne Davis resigned, and then the other one is one of a town citizen, which means anybody who owns property or lives in town. So if you know somebody who's itching to help out, let me know, because we can appoint them.
So they don't have to own property, they just have to live in town.
Correct.
Or they can own property as a business, right?
Right.
And
So
not-
yeah,
and
like
not live in-
like Jim Hawk does not live in town. He just owns property.
Right.
Okay. Or you could live in the apartments as a renter. You're also qualified,
Okay.
but you have to either live inside the town limits or own property inside the town limits. One of the two. And that's as a primary residence also. It can't be like, your third home or something like that you visit once a year or something. So
Who does that?
For your winter,
I was gonna say, if I got-
your winter bird plate nights.
Got enough
Right.
money for a
Come
third
in.
home, it's probably gonna be taken down. I'm just saying.
you never know. All right. So anyway, so review your perspective packets. And for those of you who are on both Planning Commission and BZA, you kind of want to look at both of them. See if there's any things that you have questions on those edits that we have to approve next month. And then we'll vote on that.
I'm glad you went through this because I started reviewing what you sent
Yeah?
and I got a headache. Because it was so.
Yeah, the document on housing matters from, yeah. Did you notice the very first thing on that? The shooting range?
Yeah.
I thought that was
Well,
kinda
I was
funny
thrown
with-
and I started thinking, is he trying to cover a sporting goods store coming into town or something?
Surprise.
Well, I just thought it was interesting because a couple of years ago we had that big debate about people wanting to be able to shoot their weapons in their backyard and stuff. And so now there's a law that changes whether or not the Planning Commission has oversight or authority on shooting ranges.
Indoor shooting range.
Huh?
Indoor shooting
Right.
range, yeah.
But
Just wanted to get that out there.
yeah. So those are important things. There's still a lot of information that we need to address within our UDO to make it align with our comprehensive plan, which, that in the housing, the House Enrolled Act 1001, it addresses that our UDO has to align with our comprehensive plan, which, we've never looked at those before in Clayton. And so we're kind of way behind. So it's beneficial, I guess, that they passed this law to kind of force our hand to really dig into that and review it. And so that's a big part. So remember, if you haven't, spent a lot of time in the comprehensive plan recently, get that back out and kind of look through that and see if there's things in there that you have questions on, and then we'll keep working on that. At some point, my guess would be towards the end of the year, we're going to have our public hearing to approve our changes to our UDO, which will include all the ones that we've been going over already for the last 10 months now or so. And then once we approve the changes in our UDO we'll have our public hearing and then do our approval. Then we have to take it to the town council and then ask them to have a public hearing and then approve it and adopt it as an official UDO. So it's kind of
We would have to have that in October or November, the first meeting, to with the first public hearing?
Well, there's really not a deadline to that. That's just my guess is how long it's going to take us to work through all these problems with it. I mean, we've been kind of already addressing some major issues. I mean, Mary found that document that we had 600 some notes. Some of those were just spelling or consistency issues, so those were easy to fix. But some of them are actual policy issues, or we don't have anything in there about our accessory dwelling units, like I mentioned, and that's something that this law addresses, that we have to have that in there. So it's something we have to put in that UDO on what's our town, our vision on accessory dwelling units, and approving those or not approving those, or those kinds of things. So, what's the other aspect of that bill that I thought? With all of these additional expectations and things that the state is kind of putting on to the Planning Commission and the BZA, my thought process is, and I know other towns do this, and we've not ever thought about it in the past, or maybe we've thought about it and not mentioned it, but I was going to petition the town council to actually put in the budget a monthly stipend for the civilian PC members and the BZA members. And so my thought process was, you have to attend a meeting, but once you do attend the meeting, you would be eligible for this money. So might be a little motivation to help people. I know everybody's busy, so this would give them a reason to make time in their schedule to show up to meetings. Huh? Yeah, so you show up to the meeting, you get this little stipend for it. Wouldn't be much, somewhere around $50 a month, or a meeting that you attend. So just something that would say, okay, this is for the fact that you dedicated a certain amount of time out of your week or your month, and I mean, some days, when we had the public hearing for Mr. Hoffman's stuff, Pete delivered packets of information to people. They had to research, the information there, make sure that they knew their responsibilities for that ruling that they were going to be asked to make, and so on and so forth. So there's work involved in this. So I think it's just fair to offer some money. Now, like Dave and I, we're not eligible to get paid for Planning Commission stuff because we're considered lucrative employees of the town with our planning, or with our town council salary. So, but for those of you who are civilians on this Planning Commission and the BZA, you would be eligible for this if the town council approves it. So, and we have our budget session next week coming up, so we'll discuss that.
Why, Jimmy, on speed dial? I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
All right. So, anything else that I'm leaving out? Pete, anything that I'm forgetting to talk about on this? Okay.
No, I have a couple questions though.
Excellent.
I'm not sure as far as if it's Planning Commission or not. They're paving the roads. Is that county or is that Clayton?
Who's paving the roads
Somebody's paving
right now?
Not this.
No, I'm just kidding. Howard Companies, they were awarded the grant from our CCMG application last year, and the roads that we milled and resurfaced were Regan Street, one block of Ohio from Crawford to Cross, Amo Road, and then 500 South.
Okay.
And they are already done with all the work.
I just wasn't sure if the county determines when that happens or if
Not our streets are not the county's responsibility. They're the town's responsibility.
I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Except 39.
The town of Clayton owns 5.7 miles of road inside of our town limits, and we're responsible for all maintenance and upkeep of those.
And the CCMG he mentions is the Community Crossing Matching Grant. So we get money from the state for the amount of money that we put up, and then that all has to go towards road and sidewalk. Yeah.
Which currently, very nicely, last year they changed the rule. It was a 75-25% match, and now it's an 80-20. So the state gives us 80% of the project funds, and we put up 20% of the project funds, and that helps us cover as much road as we were able to cover. Otherwise, it would take us about 10 times longer to get all our roads resurfaced.
Oh, yeah, I've noticed, because I go by Diane's all the time in Ohio, and I went for Anglo Pizza the other day and noticed they had done that.
Yeah, I think Howard Companies did a great job.
Oh, they did an awesome job.
And the last time we did it, we had Midwest Paving,
Yes.
and they did a good job. I mean, they did Western and Cumberland and Parker and York. I think that was it that they did. But, so then and each year we pick roads based on their rating as far as how good of a quality of road is. So, and then we figure out the cost, and then do we have enough matching to do all that project? So, and we get about $70,000 or $65,000 a year from Department of Transportation from the wheel tax for motor vehicle highway funds and streets and sidewalks. And then, so we use that money for our match, our part of the grant. So our 20% comes out of that fund. So it doesn't come out of our general fund. So the property taxes that you pay to the town of Clayton, we don't take the money out of that. Take it out of that motor vehicle highway fund that we get based on our inventory that we've submitted to the state.
It's kind of like getting state money and then investing the state money into a grant, so we get
more state money.
Right.
Yeah, very helpful. So, and paving is expensive. It's about $8 a square foot to do a paving project.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
We had our driveway done 2 years ago. We ended up with concrete, but paving wasn't a whole lot cheaper. I mean, it was some cheaper, but not a whole lot.
Yep. Yeah, and there's pros and cons to both of those ideas, concrete. And I mean, there are lots of communities that do concrete roads. They do that. They're not as smooth, and they don't have as much lability as far as changing with the weather and stuff. So but anyway, so that's hopefully answers your question.
Absolutely.
All right.
I was just curious because.
Any other questions? Okay. Anybody else got anything for the good of the order for Planning Commission or